You know, a funny thing happened to me the other day. Isn't that how all great stories start out? Except this time, wouldn't you know, it's true. I was downstairs rummaging through some old stuff when I came across a box of wrestling memorabilia that I thought I'd lost. Now, down at the bottom of it was a list that I actually sat down over 10 years ago and wrote out of all the things that I wanted to accomplish before I hung up my boots at the end of my career, whenever that was going to be. And as I read through this list, I had to chuckle to myself about what I had written down. If you bear with me for a second, I'd like to go through with it, because there is a point at the end of it. Number 1, it said to wrestle in every province in Canada. Well, I don't see myself making an East Coast tour to PEI real soon, so if you don't mind me just kind of scratching that one off, then I can cross this off the list, because I have done that. I've wrestled coast to coast. The second list, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it says win a title belt, and any title belt. Well, you know what? I've done that too. More than once, more than twice, many, many times. For every promotion that I've ever worked for, I have won at least one belt. So, cross that off the list. This other one was kind of, you know, a little bit funny and a little bit of an ego stroke, but whatever. It's my list, right? It says, have my own action figure. And look, right there, my own action figure. And oh, wouldn't you know? Boom! Boom! Chad Tatum's got his own action figure. Strike that one off the list. Now there's 2 or 3 or 4 other ones on here that I'm not going to waste your time reading, because it's not going to really matter here. The point is, the 2 or 3 lines that I added after I'd found this list a couple days ago. It says on here, Chad Tatum, you have to have the best matches you can before you're done, and retire before you get too old or you get seriously hurt. Well, I guess that's all on me, isn't it? I have to go out there, night after night, and do my thing 100% hard all the time. And you know what? That's what I do. Now, by the grace of God, or knock on wood, or whatever, I haven't been seriously hurt. At least, not of my own accord. Because one of the most important things on this list is the one at the bottom. It says, get revenge on Adam Knight. Because Adam Knight, as you quite remember, and as I'll remember for the rest of my life, the dust is never really going to settle on what happened between us. Maybe for the odd fan out there that doesn't quite know our history, maybe this ought to enlighten them a little bit. Yeah, so Adam Knight, I think I'm going to be more than justified when you find me knocking at your door, whether it's at PCW, whether it's in Winnipeg, whether it's in Alberta, whether it's in everywhere except perhaps PEI, it's going to be justified that I kick your teeth down your throat. And you're staring up at me through bloodied eyes and busted face, knowing that Chad Tatum has finally got the last laugh and has finally got the better of you. You know, as I'm rambling on here, I think I've got one more that I want to add to the list. It's not on here, but I'm going to go on record right now as saying, before I am done, before I hang up my boots and walk away from this all, I am going to capture one more PCW title belt. You know what? I don't even care which one it is. Whether it's the heavyweight belt, whether it's my Canadian title belt, or even a tag team championship. It doesn't matter. Before I walk away from all this, I am going to have gold around my waist again. I promise you that. That kind of brings me back to New Year's Knockout. Dave Dixon, I was just a little bit pissed at you that night. At the end of the night anyways. Because, you know, I know what it takes to be a champion. Anybody can win that title belt with a lucky punch or a roll-up or a quick submission. But it takes a real champion to defend that belt. I know that. And now I know that you know that. Because when you defeated Scott Justice that night, you know what it's like. You got the job done. I saw Jay Walker and John Falcon hit the ring and start kicking the crap out of you. And for whatever reason, maybe because I know what it's like to be at the top of the pile and have no friends and only enemies, whatever it was, I couldn't just sit there and watch it. So I came out to lend a helping hand. And even though that helping hand turned into be a belt shot upside John Falcon's skull, it still got the job done. Oh, and John Falcon. Sorry, not to steal any of your lines or anything, but just to merely quote you from earlier in that night. Sorry, kid. It's nothing personal. It's just business. You know, and besides, I was aiming for Jay Walker anyways. So Dave Dixon, we cleared that ring. And then I bent over and grabbed that belt. I shined it up a little bit, walked it over to you, and handed it to you. I raised your arm, and I even got on the mic to congratulate you. You know, I thought I had done the right thing. I showed respect to you and honored you as a champion. And then when I made some side little stupid remark about, well, maybe, just maybe, you might consider giving me a title shot sooner than later, you pulled out a big bag of attitude and got all pissy with me. You said, fuck you, Tatum, get to the end of the line. Whoa. Easy, buddy. I know when I was champion, guys like you had to line up to earn their shot. And you know, it should be no different for me. So okay, I can respect that. And I can even thank PCW, who has graciously given me a #1 contenders match against Anderson Tyson Moore at the next show on February 18th. Anderson Tyson Moore is another guy that deserves a shot at your title. So that's going to be a very interesting match. You know, he's a guy that brings it 100% of the time in that ring. All the time. Every time he's out there. And for the handful of matches that I know I have left in me, those are the kind of guys that I want to be wrestling against. So no matter what happens between Anderson Tyson Moore and I, Dave Dixon, you can be sure that at some point, sooner or later, you're going to look up and there's going to be Dave Dixon, and across the bracket is going to be Chad Tatum. And well, whenever that time does come, especially if you're still the champion at that time, I don't think being average is going to cut it. Maybe being priceless will. I'll see you on the 18th, Dixon.